Good morning. This is Nikki in California. I would encourage you to explain to your watchers the difference between certified news organizations and entertainment news. I think it's really confusing these days to know where to get your news from. And it helped me a lot to understand the difference between organizations that are actually certified and held up to standards and organizations that just say whatever they want and still call themselves the news. Thank you and good luck.
Appreciate that. Really good point, actually. That's a really good point. Generally speaking, when I'm looking for a good media source on anything, you can look up the media bias on different websites. So there's this website called MediaBiasFactCheck.com, and there are actually a bunch of them out there. You can check a bunch of different media bias checkers, basically. And you can look up any media organization, and it will tell you different things about them. For example, Reuters, one of the most center factual media companies out there. They're the least biased, and they have the highest rate of factual reporting. These sources have minimal bias and use very few loaded words, wording that attempts to influence an audience by using appeal to emotion or stereotypes. The reporting is factual and usually sourced. These are the most credible media sources. Overall, we rate Reuters least biased based on objective reporting and very high for factual reporting due to proper sourcing of information with minimal bias and clean fact-check record. And then they tell you a little bit about the history of the company and who it's funded by and the ownership and the analysis and the bias. In 2018, Reuters was named the winner of 2 Pulitzer Prizes on international reporting for exposing the methods of police killing squads in Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs, and for feature photography documenting the Rohingya refugee crisis in Myanmar and Bangladesh. They talk a lot about, why they're trustworthy and all of this other stuff. You can look up any media company that you want. Let's look up Fox News. Fox News is obviously going to be on the lower end of reliable. They have a bad habit. Let me tell you what Fox News tends to do. Fox News is on the lower end of reliable because they have 2 arms. They have the reporting arm and then the opinion arm, like the news reporting and then the opinion arm, right? And they have a tendency to mix the two. So you can't really tell if what you're watching right now is actually a news reporting program or if it's an opinion program. That's how extreme right-wing propaganda works. That's how they get one over on you. Newsmax and One American News Network are basically completely opinion-based. Completely opinion-based. There's no part of those programs that reports real factual information. If you look at this graph here for Fox News, it puts them on the right, closer to the extreme side. I think it's a lot further right than that, honestly. Their factual reporting is mixed. Here's their media bias analysis. According to a Pew Research Center survey, Fox News was the main source for 40% of Trump voters during the 2016 election. Further, another Pew survey indicates when it comes to choosing a media source for political news, conservatives orient strongly around Fox News. Nearly half of consistent conservatives, 47%, name it as their main source for government and political news. Now, I don't want you to think that this is just a problem on the right. It's also a problem on the left. Trying to think of some good examples of left-wing, the Breitbart of left-wing news. They are out there. Here's a media bias chart from All Sides, which is another media bias checking website, basically. Center is Axios, which is basically HBO's news reporting arm. Then we got BBC, that's right down the center. Reuters is in the center. The Wall Street Journal. I don't know about the Wall Street Journal. I'm not sure I completely agree with that one. MarketWatch, Newsweek, NPR, Reuters, Real Clear Politics. The Hill is also a little bit to the left. It's not center. And then for left-leaning, you've got ABC, NBC, The Guardian. And notice here, NPR Opinion. There's a difference between NPR online news only and NPR opinion. That's an important distinction. Then Politico is on the left side, just leans left, slightly left. Time Magazine, ProPublica, Yahoo News, The Washington Post. And then on the far left, we've got BuzzFeed News, Huffington Post, The Intercept, Mother Jones, MSNBC, The New Yorker, The New York Times, Opinion. I'm not sure I agree with this chart 100%, but I think it's at least pretty close. The problem is identifying opinion and news-based reporting. Like right here, NPR Opinion leans left. NPR Online News Only is in the center. You have to find that distinction because Fox News tricks poor, gullible suckers into not being able to tell the difference, basically. Damn, the Daily Mail is on the right. I did not know that one. Fox News Opinion and Fox News Online News Only. See, those two are in different categories. One leans right and one is far right. You know what? Alternet? I've never heard of Alternet before. So here is Alternet. Like I said, I've never heard of this one before, but it's apparently to the extreme left, I guess, and its reporting is mixed. You can't really trust what it has to say, I guess. World Press Freedom Rank, 45 out of 180. In review, Alternet publishes news with a far-left bias through story selection and use of emotionally loaded words such as Trump goes off in all caps, New Year's Eve Twitter meltdown, Mexico is paying for the wall, and the F word. The craven right wing is now smearing teenage survivors. The website also features a separate news category that focuses on negative reports about Donald Trump. When it comes to sourcing, Alternet typically uses known mainstream sources such as the New York Daily News and NBC News. Alternet also frequently delves into pseudoscience with the promotion of anti-GMO propaganda, which is not consistent with the consensus of science. Alternet has consistently reported on the connection between cell phones and cancer, which is misleading as there is not a scientific consensus on whether radiation from cell phones causes cancer or not. In general, Alternet consistently publishes pro-left news stories and those that denigrate the right. Failed fact checks. Alternet, a left-leaning news website, claims the State Department's Foreign Affairs Policy Board currently does not have any female members. False. Anyway, the point is you have to check your news. You have to check and make sure that you're getting news from unbiased sources. This show that you're watching now, me, I am not unbiased. I have a political and ideological bent. I am a secular humanist, and every story that I cover is going to push you in that direction. I want people to be secular humanists. I want people to be more progressive and more accepting and inclusive and liberal to some degree. So I do have a political bias. I assume you guys know that coming into this, that I have a political bias. I mean, that's the whole point of my show. I don't call myself a news reporting show. I'm an opinion show. It is really important to make sure that you're getting news from unbiased sources. Hearing people's opinions on those factual stories is fine, obviously, or you wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be doing this at all. It's fine to hear people's opinions on that stuff, but getting the news from the source and making sure you're getting all of the accurate information is very important. So I appreciate that voicemail very much. Thank you.